and cherished fellow travelers on this journey of life, good evening. It's a true blessing to be with you tonight. You know, as I've preached the gospel across this great land around the world, I've seen many wonders. But there's a particular wonder, a powerful force emerging in our time that I want to speak about tonight. It's a quiet, bold, and unstoppable force, not defined by noise or arrogance, yet it has the power to shift our world. My dear friends, that force is the mind of a smart woman. You see, smart women, the kind I'm talking about, think differently. They don't just follow the crowd. No, they lead with conviction, with a deep sense of what is right and true. As the Apostle Paul reminds us in Romans 12:2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. They don't simply echo empty opinions, but speak with a wisdom forged in the fires of pain, prayer, perseverance, and profound purpose. Their thoughts are like a beacon, calling out the very best in others, even when the world seems to be settling for far less. These women, guided by spirit and truth, are not intimidated by change. They are the change maker. They don't define themselves by status, by salary, or by social media followers. No, their definition comes from something much deeper: unwavering values, a clear vision, and the undeniable voice of truth within them. Indeed, as Proverbs 31:25 proclaims, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. These smart, spirit-led women see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. They don't crumble under pressure, but rise with grace and dignity, walking through difficulties rather than running from them. And most importantly, they think beyond themselves, planting seeds of strength today that future generations will surely harvest. Just as Galatians 6:9 encourages us, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Now smart women led with wisdom, not ego. This isn't just a catchy phrase, my friends. It is a way of life, a mindset, a spiritual posture. In a world that often rewards the loudest voice, the most aggressive approach, or the most attention-grabbing image, the smart woman chooses a different, higher road. She isn't consumed with being seen. She is singularly focused on seeing clearly. Her wisdom doesn't come solely from books, though she reads. It doesn't come solely from degrees, though she learns. No, her wisdom is forged in the fire of experience, in quiet moments of reflection, in the hard decisions made when no one else was watching. As James 1:5 assures us, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. She doesn't lead because she craves control. She leads because she understands responsibility. She has witnessed what happens when truth is ignored, when integrity is abandoned, when leaders lead from ego instead of heart. So she chooses a different spirit. She is bold, yes, but never brash. She is confident, yes, but never cocky. She knows exactly who she is and where she's going, not because the crowd cheers her on, but because she has listened to the still small voice within her. That voice, my friends, reminds her that influence without wisdom is dangerous, and power without humility is destructive. We are reminded in Proverbs 11:2, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. A smart woman doesn't rush to speak to prove herself. She listens deeply. She doesn't interrupt to shine. She leans in to understand. Her words carry weight, not because they are loud, but because they are rooted in truth. As Proverbs 10:19 teaches, when words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent. She doesn't need to crush others to feel strong. She builds others up, knowing that real strength multiplies rather than subtracts. She leads teams, homes, and communities, not with a clenched fist, but with open hands and a clear discerning mind. In conversation, she isn't interested in showing how much she knows. She's far more concerned with what the other person needs. While others fight for position, she quietly earns respect. While some rise quickly on ego and fall even faster, she rises slowly, steadily, on the unshakable foundation of character. When she walks into a room, she doesn't need to announce herself. The very atmosphere changes, not because of what she says, but because of who she is. Wisdom, you see, has a presence. It doesn't have to perform. It doesn't have to pretend. And a smart woman, she understands this profound truth. She doesn't fall into the trap of comparison. She isn't trying to outdo anyone else. No, she is simply striving to outgrow who she was yesterday. This kind of leadership doesn't scream, it speaks with calm clarity. It doesn't push, it guides. It doesn't demand, it invites. Because she knows the truth, ego may build a platform, but only wisdom can sustain it. Ego can start a movement, but only wisdom can it. Ego seeks applause, wisdom seeks impact. And the smart woman, every single time she chooses impact. Furthermore, smart women think independently and courageously. They do not accept things simply because that's how it's always been. They are not satisfied with surface-level answers or shallow traditions. Instead, they dig deeper, question boldly, and seek out truth even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. As 1 Thessalonians 5:21 instructs us, but test everything, hold fast what is good. Their thoughts are not confined by what is popular, expected, or easy. They possess the courage to challenge assumptions, even if those assumptions are centuries old or deeply embedded in our culture. They understand that independent thinking is not rebellion for its own sake. It is the unwavering pursuit of something more meaningful, more authentic, more true. This kind of thinking demands bravery, because it often leads them to places others are afraid to go. It requires them to stand alone at times, to walk through seasons of misunderstanding, and to steadfastly resist the pressure to conform. It means taking the risk of being labeled difficult or different. But smart women know the cost of silence is too high. The price of pretending is too steep. They choose truth over comfort and clarity over approval. They are not reckless. They are deeply rooted. Their independent thinking is not impulsive, but intentional. It flows from a deep well of self-awareness, faith, and moral clarity. They do not need external validation to know they are right. Their convictions do not depend on applause. While others are shaped by fleeting trends and manipulated by noise, the smart woman returns to her inner compass, her spiritual guide. She evaluates everything not through the lens of fear, but through the lens of wisdom and discernment. She doesn't say yes just to avoid conflict, nor does she say no just to prove a point. She says what is right, what is just, what is necessary, and she says it not to be heard, but to make a difference. When everyone else is shouting, she knows how to pause and think. When emotions are high, she applies reason. When critical decisions must be made, she doesn't rush to follow. She considers, reflects, and then steps forward with unwavering confidence. This kind of thinking often puts her ahead of her time. People may not understand her at first. They may resist her ideas. They may even mock her for being too serious or too idealistic. But time, my friends, always tells the truth. And the path she forges today often becomes the very road others will walk tomorrow. She is not bound by the limits of what has been done before. She honors the past, but she is not shackled to it. She respects tradition, but she is not enslaved by it. If something must change, she is willing to be the one who begins. If a difficult conversation must be had, She is not afraid to speak first. If a wall must be broken down, she picks up the hammer. Her thinking is not reactive, it is visionary. She sees what is possible and dares to imagine something better. In a world that often encourages blind loyalty, she chooses thoughtful examination. In a culture that rewards compliance, she chooses courage. She understands that independent thought is a profound responsibility, not just a privilege. Because when a smart woman thinks freely, courageously, and deeply, she becomes a powerful voice for those who cannot speak, a compassionate guide for those who are lost, and a shining light for those walking through darkness. As Proverbs 29:18 reminds us, where there is no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint, but blessed is he who keeps the law. And let me tell you this, dear friends, smart women prioritize purpose over popularity. They are not driven by the fleeting thrill of applause or the temporary high of external approval. While others may chase trends, likes, and followers, the smart woman is chasing something far more lasting, something rooted in the very depths of who she is and what she was created to do. She does not measure her worth by how many eyes are watching her, but by how faithfully she is living out her divine calling. Her aim is not to be admired by many, but to be aligned with the eternal truth that lives within her. This kind of woman wakes up with a clear sense of direction. She does not stumble through life hoping for recognition. She walks with intention. She makes decisions not based on how they will be perceived, but on whether they are right. She knows that popularity is a moving target. It changes with moods, with moments, with public opinion. But purpose, my dear friends, purpose is steady. It is firm when emotions waver. It stands strong when criticism comes. It doesn't bow to pressure, it rises in the face of it. The smart woman has learned a profound lesson. If you live for applause, you'll die by silence. So, she wisely refuses to give the crowd that kind of power. That kind of power? She is not afraid to be misunderstood. She is not afraid to be different. She is not afraid to disappoint expectations that were never rooted in truth to begin with. Her commitment is not to pleasing others, it is to pleasing the one who gave her the gift of life, of voice, of vision. As Galatians 1:10 says, "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ." She will walk away from opportunities if they compromise her integrity. She will decline invitations that would cost her her peace. She will say no to what's popular if it threatens to pull her away from what's purposeful. While others ask, "Will this make me more liked?" she profoundly asks, "Will this make me more whole?" That single shift in thinking, my friends, changes everything. It reorders her priorities, strengthens her spirit, and clears her path. She understands that being liked can never replace being fulfilled. She knows that popularity can be loud but empty, while purpose may be quiet but full. She chooses impact over image. She values depth over display. Her work may not always be seen, but it will always matter. Her words may not go viral, but they will go deep. And that, my friends, is enough for her because she's not looking to impress. She's looking to serve. In moments of pressure, when the crowd is going one way and her spirit is pulling another, she chooses the harder road. She remembers that the path of purpose is often narrow, often lonely, often uphill, but it leads to life, It leads to peace. It leads to legacy. And that's what she's truly after, not just attention, but eternal significance. She would rather be remembered for doing what's right than be praised for doing what's popular. She would rather walk alone in purpose than stand with a crowd in compromise. Her life becomes a testimony not of worldly success, but of spiritual substance. She teaches others that popularity fades, but purpose remains, that trends will change, but truth will stand. And through her choices, her courage, and her quiet confidence, she proves that a life lived on purpose is the most powerful life of all. As Matthew 6:33 reminds us, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. And here's another beautiful truth, my dear friends. Smart women embrace both strength and softness. They understand that these two qualities are not opposites, but rather powerful partners. The world often tries to divide them, telling women that to be strong, they must be hard, and to be gentle, they must be weak. But the smart woman knows better. She has discovered the sacred balance between firmness and grace, between standing tall and bending low to lift others. She knows when to speak and when to listen, when to push forward and when to pause, when to confront and when to comfort. Her strength is not loud or showy. It's not a performance meant to impress. It's a quiet, enduring kind of strength that has been earned. She has walked through storms and still stands. She has carried burdens others never saw and still shows up with love in her eyes. Her strength doesn't come from dominance. It comes from resilience. It is the kind of strength that remains kind under pressure, that holds its ground without losing its soul. We are told in Proverbs 31:17, she sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. And her softness, my friends, it is not a flaw. It is not a liability. It is her power. She is tender without being fragile, compassionate without being naive. She sees people, truly sees them, not as obstacles or tools, but as souls worthy of care. Her softness allows her to nurture, to heal, to build bridges where others burn them down. It allows her to forgive even when it hurts, to hope even when it's risky, to love even when it's not returned. As Colossians 3:12 instructs, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. This woman is not either or, she is both and. She can lead a crucial meeting and cradle a child. She can confront injustice and still cry over someone else's pain. She can run a business, write poetry, manage a home, break generational cycles, and pray with the same fervent fire in her heart. Her softness doesn't weaken her leadership. It deepens it. It adds humanity to her authority. It reminds the world that you don't have to be harsh to be respected, and you don't have to be cold to be taken seriously. There is a wisdom in her softness that sees beyond the surface. She doesn't rush to judge. She pauses to understand. She creates safe spaces where others feel free to be their full selves because she has done the hard work of becoming her full self. She has cried in silence and risen in strength. She has lost, learned, and loved again. And from all of it, she has emerged whole. Her life is living proof that vulnerability is not weakness. It is a window into true strength. That to feel deeply is not to fall apart, but to be fully alive. That grace is not a retreat from truth. It is truth wrapped in humility. The smart woman doesn't armor herself with bitterness. She clothes herself in dignity and dresses her words with kindness, even when she speaks hard truths. The world desperately needs women like this. Women who are not ashamed of their softness and not afraid of their strength. Women who bring both fire and water, who walk into rooms and bring both challenge and comfort. Women whose strength protects, not punishes, whose softness invites, not manipulates. The smart woman knows her power lies in being whole, in embracing all that she is without apology. And when she does, she doesn't just change the room, she changes the world. Hear this, my beloved listeners. Smart women build others as they rise. They understand that success means little if it's achieved alone. While some climb ladders only to pull them up behind them, the smart woman holds the ladder steady for the next to climb. She does not fear someone else's brilliance, she celebrates it. She does not shrink in the presence of other powerful voices, she amplifies them. Her heart is not threatened by the success of others, because she knows that real strength is not diminished by sharing, it's multiplied. We find this principle in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. She carries a different mindset. She's not in a frantic race for validation. She's not hoarding opportunity. She knows that the highest form of leadership is lifting. So, when she learns something valuable, she passes it on. When she opens a door, she leaves it open. When she gains a platform, she invites others to stand on it with her. They don't just mentor, she models. She lives in such a way that others feel safe to shine, to speak up, to grow. In her world, empowerment is not a slogan, it's a lifestyle. She speaks life into others, not to gain attention, but because she knows how it feels to walk in silence, doubting your worth, unsure of your voice. She remembers the people who saw something in her before she saw it in herself, and she chooses to be that person for someone else. The smart woman is secure enough to be generous. She doesn't guard her wisdom like a secret. She gives it freely, trusting that lifting others does not lower her. She cheers loudly for other women. Whoa. She speaks their names in rooms they're not in. She offers opportunities, shares connections, and sees every win as a shared celebration. Because she knows, when one rises, we all rise. But she also tells the truth. She doesn't sugarcoat struggle. She mentors not with perfection, but with honesty. She shows her scars so others don't feel ashamed of theirs. She's with authenticity, not image. She builds others not by pretending to have it all together, but by showing what it means to persevere, to fail, and to rise again, to lead with heart in a world that often rewards hardness. Even in competitive spaces, she carries a different spirit. She doesn't play games, she walks in purpose. She doesn't waste time tearing others down, she spends her energy building legacies. She understands that the true mark of greatness is not in how far she goes, but in how many she brings with her. She is the one who stays after the meeting to encourage someone who felt unseen. She's the one who notices the quiet voice in the room and makes space for it to be heard. She's the one who gives credit where it's due and shares success without hesitation. She's not interested in being the only one at the table. She's interested in making the table longer. Her leadership echoes. It doesn't end with her. The seeds she plants in others grow into trees she may never sit under, but that doesn't stop her, because she's not just living for today. She's building for tomorrow. She's building people, and that will always be her greatest legacy. And let me tell you this, dear friends, smart women seek divine guidance over cultural trends. They are not swayed by the shifting winds of public opinion or the ever-changing standards of what is considered acceptable, admirable, or successful. While the world around them moves fast, pushing new ideologies, glorifying image over integrity, and applauding compromise for the sake of convenience, The smart woman remains anchored. She doesn't build her life on the fragile foundation of cultural approval. She builds it on something deeper, stronger, eternal. Her compass is not crafted by the crowd. It's aligned with her creator. As Psalm 119:105 declares, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." She understands that the loudest voices are not always the wisest ones, that popularity doesn't equal purpose, and trendiness doesn't guarantee truth. She doesn't blindly adopt what the world calls progress if it means losing her deeply held principles. She evaluates everything, not just through logic or emotion, but through a profound spiritual lens. She pauses, she prays, she listens, and then she moves. She knows that divine guidance is not outdated. It's timeless. It's not restrictive, it's freeing. It offers clarity when culture brings confusion. It offers peace when the world promotes pressure. The smart woman doesn't feel the need to chase every new thing because she is rooted in something unchanging. While others are exhausted from trying to keep up, she is steadied because she has already chosen who she follows. And that choice defines everything. How she lives, how she lives, how she loves. She is not interested in fitting in when she was born to stand apart. And she's not willing to dilute her values just to belong. She understands that true influence doesn't come from blending in. It comes from standing firm. She may be misunderstood, she may even be mocked, but she absolutely refuses to trade eternal truth for temporary acceptance. The smart woman is guided by something higher than headlines and more enduring than hashtags. She knows that culture changes fast, that wisdom rooted in the divine does not move with the trends. It outlasts them. This doesn't mean she's closed-minded. In fact, she listens more carefully because she's discerning. She engages with the world, but she does not bow to it. She doesn't let fear, fashion, or the pressure to be relevant pull her off track. She has already found her true direction, and she trusts it, even when it's unpopular, especially when it's unpopular, because she has learned that the right path is rarely the most crowded. She's not ashamed of her convictions. She doesn't hide her faith to fit into rooms that demand compromise. She walks in truth, not arrogance, in humility, not superiority. She's not interested in arguing. She's interested in living her life as a quiet, powerful testimony of what it means to be led by something holy. People may not understand it, but they notice it. They see the peace she carries, the clarity in her eyes, the confidence in her choices. And eventually, they begin to wonder where that kind of wisdom comes from. And it's not something she brags about. It's not something she uses to elevate herself over others. It's simply the source of her strength, the reason for her calm, the foundation of her identity. It's why she doesn't crumble under pressure. It's why she doesn't sell her soul for acceptance. She knows who she belongs to. She knows what she stands for. And because of that, she walks a path that doesn't just change her life. It lights the way for others who are searching for something real. Finally, and crucially, smart women are rooted in self-awareness. They have taken the time to truly know themselves, not just the polished, presentable parts, but the hidden places too. They have looked within, unafraid to confront the layers of who they are, their strengths, their wounds, their patterns, their immense potential. All of it. They do not live in denial or distraction. They live awake. They live with clarity. They are not afraid to ask the hard questions. Why do I react this way? What am I avoiding? What do I truly need? What is driving me? Fear, love, approval, or purpose. This deep honesty becomes their ultimate power. They do not depend on others to define them. They don't need constant affirmation to feel valuable because they've already done the inner work to anchor their identity in truth. Their sense of worth is not swayed by praise or criticism. They appreciate encouragement, but they are not addicted to it. They listen to feedback, but they are not dismantled by disapproval. Their self-awareness gives them stability in a world of emotional extremes. A smart woman knows her boundaries. She doesn't just react to life. She responds from a place of deep wisdom. She recognizes when she's being stretched too thin. She understands the crucial difference between being needed and being used. She knows when to give, when to rest, and when to walk away. Her choices are not random, they are intentional because she understands herself. She lives with purpose. She doesn't just go through the motions, she moves with meaning. She is not perfect and she doesn't pretend to be. But she is present. Present to her emotions, present to her patterns, present to her growth. She owns her mistakes without shame and celebrates her wins without arrogance. She is grounded, not guarded, transparent, not performative. She lives from the inside out, not the outside in. As Psalm 139:13-14 reminds us, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made." Her self-awareness allows her to connect with others more deeply. She doesn't project her pain, she processes it. She doesn't manipulate, she communicates. She doesn't demand love, she offers it because she understands what it means to love herself in a healthy, whole way. She is not chasing completeness in another person because she has found peace within her own skin. She is not driven by comparison because she knows her path is uniquely hers. This kind of awareness doesn't happen overnight, my friends. It's built through reflection, through solitude, through courageous honesty. It's born in quiet moments, journaling in the stillness, praying through confusion, listening to that deeper voice beneath all the noise. The smart woman invests in this inner journey because she knows everything flows from it. Her decisions, her relationships, her leadership, her peace. In a world that tries to pull people in 1,000 directions, the smart woman remains centered. She may not have all the answers, but she knows who she is. And that knowing becomes her compass, her anchor, her strength. She leads herself well first, so she can lead others wisely. She lives in alignment with her values, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. She knows that power without self-awareness is dangerous, and that real transformation begins within. Her life becomes an invitation, not for others to imitate her, but to discover their own truth. Her calm presence becomes a mirror for others to see what's possible when you are no longer running from yourself. And as she grows in awareness, she grows in wisdom, in compassion and grace, because she is not just becoming smarter, she is becoming whole. In a world that often tries to define us by what we do, how we look, or how many people follow us, the smart woman knows that her true worth is found in who she is and in the purpose she serves. She leads with wisdom, not ego. She thinks independently and courageously. She prioritizes purpose over popularity. She embraces both strength and softness. She builds others as she rises. She seeks divine guidance over cultural trends. And she is rooted in self-awareness. The smart woman, my friends, does not follow the crowd. She follows her calling. She does not live for the applause of others. She lives to make a profound difference. She does not allow the noise of the world to drown out the still, small voice of truth within her. Her life is a powerful testament to what is possible when a woman chooses authenticity over approval, depth over surface, and purpose over popularity. As Micah 6:8 challenges us, he has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. So, to every woman listening to my voice tonight, I issue this challenge, this call to action. Let us all strive to be women who think differently, who walk with intention, who lead with grace, and who build a legacy. Not just for ourselves. Because the world, oh, how it needs more women like this. Women who know their worth, who embrace their power, and who are committed to creating a world where strength and softness, wisdom and love, integrity and courage coexist. The world needs smart women who are not afraid to rise and to lead in their own unique way towards something better, something truly divine. So stand tall, my dear sisters. Lead with purpose. It's in your dial. And always remember that your life is a beautiful reflection of the difference you are making today and every single day forward. May your lives be a living testament to God's grace and purpose. Amen. Thank you, and may God bless you all.